going, guys? It's the 1MFP here. It's that time of the year. It's playoff season, the most exciting time of the year. I mean, let's face it, it's pretty much Christmas for us hockey fans. In this video, I want to address a few thoughts that I'm sure is running through a lot of Habs fans' minds that is causing them anxiety going into this first round of the 2015 Stanley Cup Playoffs against the Ottawa Senators. And I want to dissect those thoughts and give counter arguments as to why we shouldn't be afraid of those thoughts at all. Now, number one thing, 2013, we lost to the Ottawa Senators in the first round in 5 games. Number 2, Andrew Hammond. The guy's been a beast. He's led the Ottawa Senators into the playoffs and is probably looking like a very significant threat right about now. And number 3, our record against the Ottawa Senators this season. We are 1-3 against them. That is not a very favorable record. I'm going to start off with this 1-3 record. 1-3 is not a very good record to have against a team you're facing in the first round of the Stanley Cup Playoffs. Moreover, we have a -5 goal differential against that team as well. 9 goals for, 14 goals against. Carey Price's stats don't look very strong against these Ottawa Senators with a save percentage of 88%, I believe, and a goals against average of somewhere around the 3 mark, whereas Andrew Hammond has very strong stats against us with a save percentage of .945 and a goals against average of 2. One thing to keep in mind here is Price only played 2 games against the Ottawa Senators this season. One of them he won, the other one he lost. Andrew Hammond only played 2 games as well, so the stats aren't very significant with such a small sample size here. Another slightly bright side to this story is we didn't get offensively clobbered by them by any means. We actually outshot them by 1 overall in the whole season, 128 shots to 127. Let's face it, playoff hockey is very different from the regular season, so our performances against Ottawa this season aren't very indicative of what will happen in the playoffs. So I wouldn't be too worried about how we performed against them this season. This brings us to Andrew Hammond. This guy's stats has been amazing this season. 23 starts, 20 wins, 1 loss in regulation, and 2 overtime losses. This guy pretty much came out of nowhere. It's his first season in the NHL. He pretty much single-handedly led Ottawa into their playoff spot. But once again, the thing to keep in mind is playoff hockey is very different from the regular season. Andrew Hammond has no playoff experience whatsoever. To add on to that, he's going to have a lot of pressure on his shoulders to live up to expectations. You know Ottawa is counting on him to come up big in such a way that he could carry his team to victory and move on to the second round. That's a lot to live up to when you have to go against the Montreal Canadiens in the first round. The number 1 team in the division. 21,000 people strong trying to get in your head at the Bell Center, hoping you fail. Not to mention you're going up against a team with the number 1 goalie in the league right now, leading in pretty much every category there is to lead in as a goaltender, except shutouts pretty much. Marc-Andre Fleury passed him in that category, where he has 10 and Carey has 9. Goals against average of 1.96, a save percentage of .933, an absolutely incredible franchise record breaking 44 wins and 66 starts. And you know Carey's just hungry to get his hands on that Stanley Cup after last year's outing. So as a rookie goalie, going up against that, you just have to believe there is a lot of pressure on Andrew Hammond's shoulders. And this is the Stanley Cup Playoffs. You got people that are delegated to specifically point out all your weaknesses. You know the opposing team will exploit those as much as they possibly can. So this is a big test for Andrew Hammond. And now, the elephant in the room, the 2013 playoffs. There are some striking similarities between now and 2013, which is probably why this sticks so much. We were the top-seeded team going into the playoffs, facing the Ottawa Senators, who were a lower seed. We got eliminated in the first round in 5 games. Here are a couple things to remember from that year as well. Carey Price lost his confidence at the end of that season. That lack of confidence carried over into the playoffs. As a result, we had a differential of -11. We only scored 9 goals. We got 20 goals scored against us. Now, to separate ourselves from that similarity, this season it's pretty much the opposite. Carey Price is going into the playoffs with a ton of confidence. Definitely the most we have ever seen from him. Like I said before, he also has much more hunger than he had back then, I'm sure, after what happened last year. And that confidence and hunger put together, it trickles down into the rest of the roster, and it just makes for a stronger team overall. Another guy who's probably very hungry and has some extra motivation going up against the Ottawa Senators is Lars Eller, who got injured in that first round of 2013. We've seen Lars Eller pick up the pace in the last few games. He's getting into that playoff mode. We've gotten bigger with guys like Devontae Smith-Pelly, Jacob de la Rose, Dale Weiss. The younger guys such as Galchenyuk and Gallagher have gained a lot of playoff experience since then. We've got a wealth of defensive depth. So overall, we're a much different team going into these 2015 playoffs. Basically, this is a little bit cliche, but what it will come down to is goaltending. Carey Price has to be better than Andrew Hammond. Beyond that, he has to be protected better than Andrew Hammond. We have to get in Andrew Hammond's head. We have to create traffic. We need to rattle him with some quick goals. Defense needs to protect Carey Price as best as they can. Basically, have to take away any confidence the surging Ottawa Senators have. Another thing is special teams. The Habs need to be very disciplined, and they need to capitalize on their power play opportunities. And we need to put an asterisk on that because the Habs power play was lacking at the end of this last season. So the power play is definitely something that needs to be worked on a lot. It's been said so many times that special teams win playoff games, and I'm inclined to believe that. If you don't capitalize on your power play chances, you're just going to wear yourself out as you get further into the playoffs. And last but not least, I know the last two were very cliche, but this definitely takes the cake. It's desperation. The Habs simply need to want it more. They need to need it more than the Ottawa Senators. Furthermore, the Habs cannot take Ottawa lightly. The Senators have a lot of momentum going into this first round. They have a goalie who's been coming up big for them when it was important. So you know they have a lot of motivation. The Habs can't allow themselves to be surprised by the Ottawa Senators. They have to come in with a killer instinct. And the Habs need to establish themselves as early as possible and take away any motivation that the Senators have. Anyways, that does it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Go Habs, go!